What's up guys, Drew from FlightFX here, and today we're going to be talking about color grading and making your footage go from this to this. Stick around and we'll talk all about it. Alright guys, thanks for sticking around. Let's get right into it. We're going to be going into color grading, using LUTs, and getting some amazing drone footage. And I've got 4 clips here. We're going to grade each of them up to get some really nice, stunning clips. These have been taken, some of them from Thailand, some of them are from the Rocky Mountains in Canada, and just some from around home too. So we got quite a few different kind of styles going. The Thailand clips were shot in D-Cine-like, and the other ones were shot in log, so we're going to see how the LUTs can be applied to both. So let's just start with this one. We'll pick out a LUT here. These clear ones are basically, we're just working with the contrast profile rather than the colors. So just to bring out really bright, vibrant, natural colors, and it's actually, this is one of my favorite presets. So now let's just play around with the intensity a bit, get it where we want it. Usually working with D-Cine-like, we'll probably be bringing the intensity down every time because these are made to be kind of a split between Cine-like and log. So just keep that in mind, always play with the intensity, find what really works because it is always different for every clip. And then from there you can always play around with other things like the contrast. This one is pretty well balanced to begin with. I'd maybe just bring up the highlights, just get that nice pop, but you don't want to overdo it. So yeah, everything's fairly nice where it is. We can always look at the scopes, and yeah, it's pretty well balanced. Maybe just bring the blacks down just to crush them a little bit, and that looks pretty good. But let's take a look at some other looks. We can go into cinema that has the really dark teals and the oranges and the highlights. So if we were grading with this, something around there, even with that same basic correction, I like that a lot. Just from log or Cine-like to that is a pretty big change. So yeah, you can just play around, find what you like. They all, after the first 2 clear ones, they all have a slightly different color profile. You can see it just playing around with the blues and the oranges and the greens. So yeah, just find what works for you, what look you're going for. And so let's just take a look at a couple more here. So yeah, that's pretty much it with this one. Since it's sunny and nice, I just like that clear look. So let's play that through. And again, with it off, with it on. Okay, so now we're on to the next clip. This was shot in BC in Canada. It was during forest fire season, so it's not actually haze, that's actually all smoke. So, and this was actually also shot in log, so it's a really gray image. You can see even in the color, you can see even in the scopes here how far away we are from any clipping. So this was shot right after sunrise, and 2 of the LUTs here, 8 and 9 blue hour and golden hour, are specifically for this kind of sunset, sunrise time. So you might find they're not looking great on like a daytime clip like our last clip, but for this stuff it's perfect. So let's go with blue hour for this one and see if we can bring out some of the pink tones in that sunrise sky. So like I said, this one was shot in log and the haze isn't helping bring up any intensity. So this one we could actually probably even bring up the intensity a little bit, but you don't want to overdo it. What I'm going to do instead is we're actually going to bring up the contrast here and maybe some highlights. and really crush these black down. Since we have so much haze, our blacks we're so far away from any clipping, so let's crush them down quite a bit. So that looks pretty good there. Let's play around with some saturation, but it looks pretty good how it is. Now I'm going to show you a trick. What we can actually do is if we bring up a second lumetri and we add a mask just over the sky. And then we turn the feather way up to kind of blend it in a little bit. Okay, so now what we can do is if we move this under our first lumetri preset, this box over here is always going to show the lowest lumetri. So now we have to work over here for this, but let's just turn down some of our highlights to really preserve the detail in the sky, and maybe just bring up the saturation of the sky. And then what you can do is play around with the color temperature and just kind of get the tones that you really like. So I kind of like the blues and pinks, so let's bring the blues down a little bit, and we'll bring up this tint just a little bit. So now if we turn that on and off, it makes quite a bit. It's really subtle when you're looking at it, but when you turn it on and off like that, it makes quite a bit of difference and just makes this a really, really nice clip with a lot of dynamic range. And now if we play it through, we've got a lot of dynamic range, and this is probably one of my favorite clips I've shot with the drone. And if we turn off our effects here, you would never think that's going to be a great clip before you add some of the effects. Okay, and on to the next one now. Here we've just got a shot of a temple in Thailand. So let's see what we can do with some grading on this. Again, we can just stick with that clear again, which I tend to like a lot. A lot of people like cinematic stuff. So let's go with one of the bonus ones here, Iceland, where you get those blue, greens, and orange highlights again. So this one is a little overexposed, so all we have to do is we can just bring down the exposure a little bit and maybe bring down some of those highlights. Again, we can look at the scopes and kind of get an idea that, yeah, this is all fairly overexposed. And then our shadows are pretty dark. So let's just play around here, see what we can do. Again, this is all personal preference. I tend to like colors, but you can definitely get into the more toned out cinematic stuff too. So yeah, that looks quite a bit better already if we just play it through here before and after. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's just maybe try one other, see what we can find with some different presets. And there you get some of those yellows, and I don't know, I'm kind of a fan of that look too. It's kind of like a mustardy. It has its place in certain projects. So yeah, that's pretty good for that one. Let's this one again was shot in log, so it's really, really gray. There's not much contrast at all, so we're going to do that all through LUTs. So let's see here. If we just use clear again, you can see clear sun and clear overcast. Clear overcast is for this kind of stuff, because overcast, especially shooting log, you tend to get a lot less dynamic range compared to sun. So if we throw that on, we've got a lot more contrast now. You can see the spikes in the scopes. So that looks quite a bit better. Again, you can play around with the intensity. Somewhere around where it was looks pretty good. And then let's just play around with these basic corrections. So that there looks pretty good if we just play it out there. Yeah, without effects, with effects, quite a bit different. It's just, that looks pretty good, but let's just see what else we can find in terms of looks, see if there's anything else that's really standing out at us. So yeah, that pretty much does it. I hope you learned a little bit on color grading, and if you want to learn any more about these LUTs that we've been using in this video, you can go to FlightFX.ca and our DJI Lut Pack. These are LUTs designed specifically for DJI drones, and they're really optimized for the DJI color space, so they can get you the look you're looking for, and you can play around with a few different styles on there, kind of see if it's what you're looking for, and if you want to buy, that can all be done there too. Anyway, thanks for watching, happy creating, and if you like this video, don't forget to hit subscribe.